Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome on. It is official. It is time to get our property tour started. We do these Zoom property tours every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, where we get the privilege and the honor of sharing an investor or a team of investors, in this case, a couple who are doing real estate within our community. And again, we love taking out an hour every Saturday morning to highlight these folks and share their story and share about what they're doing. We are a national community of investors. And like I said, we do these every Saturday morning. So we're so glad you guys took an hour out. It's September 2nd. It's Labor Day weekend. So happy Labor Day weekend to everybody on. Hope you guys all have a safe and great Labor Day with family and friends. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring out Dameon. Are you on, Dameon? You ready to go?
Good morning. Good morning.
We see you. Good morning again, sir. Well, Dameon, I know that Jennifer's really multitasking right now. She's out of state for work, and so she was
Okay.
on a few minutes ago, but I don't know if she'll be on at all today. But you got this, as I told you earlier, and and this is so awesome that you've taken time out to come back again to do this property tour. As you were out, what was it, just a couple months ago, 6 weeks ago?
Yeah, a little bit over 6 weeks ago.
A little bit over 6 weeks ago, right in the demo process. And the 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 change in what you guys have been able to do in 6 weeks is just amazing from just a little bit of what I've seen. I haven't seen it all, and we're going to see it today. But we love doing this because folks who might have been on 6 weeks ago got to see what you guys were doing in the early stages, and then now you get to show them a glimpse of where you're at today, which is, I think, it's going to blow some people's minds. And
And
yeah, so we always love starting these off, Damien. As you know, we have a lot of folks on today who could be guests or people who are kind of checking out our community and thinking about becoming real estate investors. And so they may not know your story. And normally, if Jennifer was on, we'd let her share a little bit about her story too. But if you want to kind of get things kicked off and kind of talk about like your background a little bit, and I know you guys have a family, and then kind of like how what clicked, what did you see, or what did you attend or read that you were like, I want to become a real estate investor. This is what we're going to do. And then how did you find our community, and why did you decide to become a part of it, just like me, wanted to be a part of this community? So could you go ahead and take it from there?
you kind of covered a lot of stuff. My wife and I, married. We have three kids. Currently a firefighter. I've been one for 16 years now, and my wife is an IT project manager. We have a 17-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 12, soon to be 13-year-old. Um, and we knew that, you know, no matter how high we got in our jobs, that's no matter how far we got in our jobs, that we couldn't leave to our children the legacy that we wanted to leave to them, working just a regular job. We knew that we had to do something else. And that something else for us, being as my wife, she loves to decorate. I love the construction aspect. I love working with my hands and doing stuff with my hands. I love doing demo. So you're going to see a lot of that of the demo that I did today. Um, you're going to see that, we knew that real estate was going to be that avenue that was going to help us to build wealth. There is they say 90% of millionaires either made their wealth through real estate or use real estate to continue to grow their wealth. So we wanted to be a part of that 90%. And I had a neighbor before we started, because we started with this group about 5 years, 2018, 5 years ago. And before that, I had a neighbor who was telling me about tax lien and joining and doing tax liens. So I checked out the tax lien sales in DC. And my goal, of course, was to try to get the property. Even though I was brand new, one thing, the Lord has blessed me with is how to do research. So I started doing some research on tax liens, and I, kind of educated myself on that particular strategy and what I was looking to do. And while I was there, before I left, my wife said, "Make sure you go and network." And I'm like, okay, because she knew me. I would have just been about business. I'd have stayed to myself, bidding on the properties that I intended on bidding on and got out of there. But fortunately, I listened. And while I was there, I met a good friend of mine. His name is Keith Jones. He and I were there, and we were witnessed one guy who was buying up everything. And we were like, man, well, this guy must be with a group or got a lot of money or something. So we ended up talking to him, and I found out people pay him to go to do different tax lanes in different states and stuff like that. But Keith and I exchanged numbers, and he found this group, and he told my wife and I about a week or two later. And so we did our homework, did our investing on the group, and talked to a few different friends who were already doing investing and stuff like that. And we came to the terms that we couldn't get around, getting educated on something that we say that we want to do. So that's what brought us to this group.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Keith's a great guy, and I'm glad you guys made that decision because you've really given a lot back to our community, just like through this property tour, sharing what you're going to share today and so forth. And of course, you're a good man and a good husband when you listen to your wife. So that's really important. If she's still on, I'm giving you a thumbs up. I'm right there with you. So so your strategy, and you've done different strategies. You talked about tax liens. You've done different types of strategies in real estate, but you really focused on building your portfolio of rental properties. And
Yeah.
tell us a little bit of why that strategy, why that's so important for you and Jennifer.
So for us, we again being not when we first started, we were novice, and not that just experts in everything, but we've definitely learned a lot throughout the years, all thanks to this group. But we started out wanting to do flips, like I think probably 95% of the people on here, because we watch TV and we see the bits and the glam of the 30-minute flip. So we were like, you know what, we think we can do that too. But one of the classes that we have is called Investor ID. And so we watched this class, and it showed us that, yeah, we're going to do flips, but if we want to build wealth for our children's children, it's going to be through that passive, that buy and hold. So we decided to shift from doing fix and flips to fix and hold, so we can add value to properties. Just multiple different ways to be able to acquire wealth, because you acquire wealth, of course, through cash flow. Cash flow is one of the great ways to be able to replace your job, but also through equity and depreciation and all of those things that come with holding on to a property versus buying it, fixing it up, and then selling it.
That's awesome. That is now the market that you're in for everybody's on. Can you explain a little bit about the area that you invest in, that you're acquiring these properties in?
Yeah, we're in the DMV area, and our strategy is we do rentals, but via housing authority, so we can get that guaranteed money. We realized through the pandemic, but we were doing this strategy, from the beginning. But it kind of even solidified it a little bit more through the pandemic when people were out of work. They couldn't. Some people couldn't pay, because they didn't have a job. Some people couldn't pay because the government told them they didn't have to pay, so they played the game. So we said, you know what, we don't want to kind of go down that road. We want to make sure that the government is always going to pay. If the government stop paying, you best believe that the world is in a world of trouble. So we wanted to make sure that our money was secure, and also being able to help people in maybe unfortunate situations. being able to help families move into good areas, because we buy properties in areas that are called opportunity zones, and they're in the better areas, better schools, better environments for people with their
Mhm.
families. So we buy, homes in those areas where we fix them up really nice, and you'll see today that we don't just put anything to our properties. Hence the name Beauty for Ashes. We try to give someone a beautiful, beautiful home, something that was once destroyed, looking distressed, and we make it beautiful so they can, have that sense of pride and in a sense of just home ownership and just being able to come and say this is ours, and that's how we allow our tenants to, this is your home. We may own it, but you stay here. I want you to take care of it if this is your own, and as long as you do that, you don't have to worry about moving. It's, you can keep it as long as you need.
So you refer to the opportunity zone, and so you're dealing a lot with, if not mostly, like Section 8 properties. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and gosh, over the last few years, you've been on several times throughout. I don't know, this might be the third or fourth property you shared on the property tours that you guys have done. And there's a
Mhm.
lot of people that if you're in a conversation, and you know exactly what I'm saying here, you're in a conversation with somebody, you tell them what you do, and you tell them about that you have Section 8 properties. They get this cloud over their head, like that's a really negative, bad thing. And
Mhm.
and what I find is just like so much other things is they're just those folks are not educated. They don't know what they don't
Correct.
know. And
Yep.
sometimes when people don't know something, they come up with an opinion, and that opinion is not really the right opinion. So talk a little bit about that and why you guys really embrace that. And I mean, you've already kind of touched on it, but why do you really embrace that? Because I think it's very powerful, and you guys inspire me so much by doing what you're doing. So talk a little bit about that, if you would.
You're absolutely right, Scott. People do have that negative, and not that some of it can't be true, but a lot of people don't even speak from experience. They just speak off of what they heard, and so they stay away from it. Which I'm glad. That's competition for me if that's what you want to do. But that's not the case. We have one particular tenant. She had a great job. She was making over 45K a month. I mean, a year, a month. She's making over 45K a year. She had a credit score of over 800. Um, and her place was great. But her situation was just bad where she was able to, take advantage of being on Section 8. And so we try to find people like that. We try to find people who just may have been dealt a bad hand, and whatever the situation may be that they had to get put into the system. But they're great people. And they're looking to have a great house and put their
Hmm.
kids great schools and a great environment. So those are the tenants that we screen for, that we look for. We look for those people who are not just playing the system, but actually, want to do well and want to be in a good environment for the family.
I love it. I love it, brother. So I know you guys have shared in the past, and we don't have a lot of time to get into it, but you guys have a system down, and basically how you go about finding those people, and all the way to the home visits and things like that Jennifer's talked about before, and so you guys are really, you had to start somewhere, right? And there's a lot of people on today, Dameon, that are looking at our community and trying to decide, hey, do I want to be a part of this community? What do they have to offer me or my family? And so you started somewhere, and in the beginning, when you did your first one, you learned a lot, and then obviously, I don't even know what the number's up to now, and how many doors you have, but you've learned a lot, and you've really honed your system down, and I don't want to say it's cookie cutter, but you've really figured out a lot of the things to do and a lot of things not to do. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's definitely education. You're going to learn one way or the other. You're going to learn because you took time to educate yourself, whether that be having a mentor, paying for a system or education system, something like that, or learn from the school of hard knocks. And I think that when you learn from the school of hard knocks, it's going to cost you more than if you actually go out there and seek education for yourself. We were fortunate enough to classes that we have, the buy and hold class that we watch, to gain a bunch of knowledge so we can learn from somebody else who was actually doing it, who was more professional than us, who've been in the game for a longer time, who are doing it, and learn from and glean from their strategies and what they do. And then, we start taking stuff from here and there. After our first tenant, we learned real quick because we didn't have this strategy that we do now. We didn't do the home visits, which is a major part of what we do. Because let's be real, if the government is paying most, or if not all of their portion, what's the next most important thing is what your house is going to look like. So we make sure that we through our screening process, and we screen just like we'll screen whether a person is on Section 8 or not. So they get the same screening process, but we've added another step, and that step is going to the person's property where they currently live to see how they currently take care of their current property. And odds are, if they're taking care of their current property, they're going to move to your property, they're going to take care of your property too. So we're not really focused on what their credit score is, and not that we're just totally dismissing their credit score, but we don't just disqualify if they don't have a 700 or 600 credit score. We take a lot of things into account, with their home being probably the highest on that list.
Makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. So, so with that said, let's kind of do a little bit about this property. And again, you were on like a little over 6 weeks ago. I mean, right? I almost think it was 6 weeks ago,
but on the 5th of July.
5th of July, and here we are on the 2nd of September, and I remember that from before. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you found this particular property? I mean, did you find it on the MLS? Did you find it through a wholesaler, word of mouth, an auction? How did you find this?
We found this property on the MLS. I have been seeing this property for quite a few years, going on and off the MLS. We actually have a guest on today who who told us about it being in the auction, and she bid it on it herself. She bid it on it, and by the grace of God, he had it hidden for us.
Oh, that's so hilarious.
After it one time before, and for whatever reason I didn't get it, but I've seen it on, like, I don't know, a few years that it was on and off. And then this last time it came on, I was just determined to get it, and the Lord allowed us to be able to acquire it for a lot less than I thought that I was going to have to pay for it too.
Oh, that's awesome. That's like icing on the cake. That's great. So you were referring a lot a few minutes ago to classes, to buy and hold, to investor, the different classes that we have available. You and I and a lot of people who are already a part of our community, they're taking the same classes, and we're learning from some of the top mentors and educators in the country in this field. And what I love so much about it, and is like the buy and hold classes. We take it from an instructor, we call a facilitator, someone that's what they do. They don't do like 15 strategies. They do buy and hold, or they do fix and flip, or and our tax liens. Oh my gosh, the tax liens, and they're very successful at that. And I love learning from people that are successful, because what they'll tell you, any successful person will tell you, is they learn more from their mistakes or from their, the curveballs that are thrown at them than they do anything else. And so they share those with us. So I really appreciate you mentioning that and bringing that out and talking about that. So, is there something specific that you want to mention about this particular property? You said you found it through the MLS. You've been looking at it for a couple of years. it was brought to you by somebody that who's on today. That's really cool. Was there a particular class that helped you acquire this property and understand the value of it? And because there's a lot of things we got to think about as investors, but one, you were already putting together some rough ideas of some numbers and cost to rehab it, and it's going to look. I've already seen some pictures behind you as you were walking around, and oh my gosh, it looks beautiful compared to what it was when you bought it and or acquired it. Is there anything that particularly helped you on this property as far as acquiring it?
Well, we know to have a successful business, there's just not just one thing. There's a combination of things. So we have several different classes, whether it be from the buy and hold class, the investor ID, so honing in, like you said, having that one specific strategy, because if you're all over the place, then you end up doing nothing because you're trying to do a little bit here, a little bit there, or you're just not that good. So we have instructors, practitioner instructors, meaning they're doing what they're teaching, and they have to prove that they've made money in that subject in that year. I think it's like $1 million in that year in order for them to teach it to us. So I felt confident in learning. We're not learning from someone who did it in 30 years ago. We're learning from someone who's currently doing it. And I think the best teacher is the best way to learn. And I did a post on Facebook. You can go back and check it out, where it says God wants us to learn from other people's mistakes. Not that we're not going to make mistakes and we should learn from our own mistakes, but the best way to learn, for me anyway, is to learn from somebody else. So if I can see all the pitfalls and things that you ran into, and you telling me, okay, avoid this, I would rather learn that way than having to figure it out and make those same mistakes myself when I could have just learned from someone else. And so that's the blessing that we have with these classes, is these practitioner instructors is showing you all of the different things, the ways to be successful, how they became successful after mistake after mistake after mistake, and saying, okay, this is the route that you can go that will bring you the most success. And again, it's not going to be foolproof, but it just mitigates the risk, versus you're doing, trying to figure it out on your own. You're going to make a lot more mistakes trying to do it on your own when you can just be a copycat. I think that's the best way. I know in school, sorry to say, I wasn't the best student in the world, but I knew who the smart people was. So occasionally I'll peep over to see what they got. Put A, I was thinking A, they put A, so I know they're smarter than me, so I'm gonna put A too. So I would rather look at somebody else's paper who I know is smarter than me, and do what they did to find success versus trying to figure it out on my own. So with the different classes, the tax and legal class, because it's not about how much money you make, but it's about how much you can keep. So we learn every single way of not only just making money, but being able to keep the same money, keeping that money, the most of that money that we make. A lot of the wealthy people, they already know. This is being taught to us, to the layman folk, the 99%. The top 1% of the people is teaching the 99 on how to become one of the 1%. And it's up to us if we're going to pay attention and listen from the teacher who's already doing it and making the money in that area. So I follow directions good, Scott. So that's one thing. I tell my wife that. I said, I can follow some directions. You can tell me something. Hey, I might not, want to cook something, but if you say, hey, I want you to cook this, and this is how I want it done, I can follow those directions. And guess what? If I follow those directions to a T and it turns out great, the teacher who taught me, they get a pat on the back, and I get a pat on the back because I followed directions. If it turned out bad, it's not on me because I followed your directions. So I just learned to follow directions.
Well, let's go ahead. I'm going to pull up some pictures from before for folks who, Chris Teach says delicious. Okay, let's pull up some pictures from before. Hold on just a minute here. Here, I'm going to pull up one of the front. Now, is that the picture of the front of the house before you got started?
Yep,
Okay.
that's what it's like
So
before.
how many bedrooms, how many baths?
So it was originally a three bedroom total, but it was sectioned off into 2 units, two and one in the back, and then one in the front. So, but it wasn't a legal 2 unit, so we ended up having to convert it to a single family home. But either way, cash flow good either way, doing it either way.
There's a side view of the house there.
Yep.
Looked like you already had some demo material sitting out there by the front porch. You were already going at this point.
That was the trash from the previous owner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had done nothing at that point.
Gotcha. All right. So then we're going to kind of go in here and show, what are we looking at there?
So this is when we started pulling down. They had drop ceiling, originally had drop ceiling. We're pulling down the drop ceiling.
And is this a bedroom?
This is a bedroom. I think this may have been in the 2 unit. Yes, this was in the 2 unit side. This was like, I guess, considered a master. This is the biggest bedroom, the master bedroom inside in the 2 unit side.
And this was the kitchen?
This was the kitchen, living room, and behind that wall, behind the stove, is where the bathroom is. This was for the one bedroom, one bath home for the 1 unit side.
Gotcha.
Yep, a little bit more demo. This is where the bedroom is for the 1 unit side. And if you see under that wood, where the ladder is, if you can see that ladder, we broke down the wall to the 2 unit and opened it up. So this is when we started to do some opening up of the walls. This is the kitchen, dining room area on the 2 unit side before the walls came down. This is the bathroom for the 1 unit side.
I see the stack right there. It's right in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm. Just tight bathroom.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, those blues were a popular color back then, weren't they?
It was.
Those and
Blue,
those
blue and pink.
those in the, well, I don't know if they call it pink or they called it mauve. I think was the word mauve, because I remember growing up with mauve carpets, and it was
Oh, wow.
supposedly it was all the rage. They have mauve carpets. I think I got two more here, and then we'll is this the bathroom for the 1 unit or 2 unit?
That's the 2 unit side.
That's the 2 unit side. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've got one more here to show before we. I showed all those. I don't know if we showed this one here. Did we show this one earlier?
No, we didn't show that one, but that is just a different angle of the kitchen on the 1 unit side.
Okay. Did that actually have kitchen?
I'm sorry?
Did it have carpet in the kitchen? Is that carpet I see?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it's the 1 unit side smells so bad. It was definitely a smoker there. And as soon as you open the door, it punched you right in the face. Just make you feel like you
Oh.
smell smoke cigarettes when you left out.
You know, there's a lot of people that would look at this property in the beginning and kind of stay away from it. And what attracted you so much? I mean, obviously, you know the area, you know the market, you knew what you could do with it. But what attracted you so much to this project? Because it wasn't this wasn't just a in and out in a week or two. I mean, you guys blew it away in 6 weeks, and everybody's going to see here a minute ago you how much you got accomplished. But what attracted you to this property?
That's just it. We knew the area, and before we knew that it wasn't a legal 2 unit, we were excited to have it as a 2 unit, because we would cash flow even more if it were a 2 unit, even though it was 1 bedroom, 1 bath on one side, and 2 bedroom, 2 bath on the other side, but still cash flow a little bit, just a little bit more, not a whole lot more, but a few $100 more, if it were that way. But we also knew that if it wasn't, that we can transform it to something beautiful, like we did.
Absolutely. So you're there at the property today, and I just got a direct message from somebody. We'll get to those. The person who just sent me that direct message, we're going to get to the numbers here in a minute. Everybody's always so excited, Dameon, to see numbers. And well, since you're right there and ready to go on the property, how do you want to start us in the front of the house or in the middle? Where do you want to start us at, taking us through?
I'll start in the front. Let me see if I can share a photo of just a couple of photos of how we even kind of like took it down, just to see the amount of work that we put into it. Are you able to see my screen or no? Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Good morning. How are you? Uh,
Somebody's off mute. So here's a picture. What about now? Can you see?
Yeah, I can see the demo of the wall with just some studs left.
Yep. So we completely open. So right here is to the left is where the 1 bedroom unit is of that wall, where the 1 bedroom was, and that's the other side of the wall is where the kitchen of the 2 unit was, and then to the right is where the living room of the 2 unit was. This is the front door is in front of us. This is before we completely opened and took out the wall. And the other side is where the 2 unit was. So you can see both units. You can also see that all of the ceiling. Our intentions were not to take down the ceiling, but there was some mold on the other side. So my contractors had to take all the ceiling, which I wasn't too happy for. But hey, those are the things that happen when you started, getting into these older properties that you don't know. But you make your money when you buy. So if I didn't buy it right, it wouldn't make sense. But because I bought it right, and we learned to do a lot of the things that you see here, we knew that wasn't a big issue. It wasn't going to blow the budget, and it was still going to work out for our numbers.
Looks like you might have had a few dumpsters full of demo material.
Oh my God, Scott, you don't want to talk about the dumpster. That's like a sore subject for me.
Yeah, I know.
I
I
spent
had
so much money.
I had a project where I budgeted 7 dumpsters. 7 dumpsters. That's about roughly $3,500.
Okay, you beat me. We was at 23, a little bit over 2,300 in dumpster.
And we ended up doing 12 dumpsters.
Wow. I am out front. Let me see how to turn my camera around. So we are looking at the front of the house now, and it's sunny out.
Yeah, but it's nice. It's a great picture. It's beautiful outside. What a transformation from the other picture.
This was the front porch that we saw going around to the side.
Oh my gosh, that looks wonderful.
And you see the roof? I don't know if
Yes.
we any pictures of the roof before, but it was like brown color. And I didn't know this, but I learned, still learning. You can paint the roof, Scott.
Yes, I found that out too.
So we are going in the front door. This is the
That is
front of where
that
the,
is off the chart. Oh my gosh, Dameon.
can you turn the phone? Oops, sorry. Somebody asked me to see the landscaping real quick. Let me run out there. My wife did an awesome job, so I gotta show this beautiful job she did with the landscaping.
It's got such a great curb appeal to it.
So this is when you walk in to the 1 unit side. Originally, there was a wall going across here. This first bedroom was here. So I'll go in here. This was one of the sides for the 1 bedroom. And Scott, I don't know if I mentioned this, but we turned it from a 3-2 to a 5-3.
You turned it from a
This
three
is,
bed, two bath to a 5-3.
yep. No,
That's
5-2,
amazing.
sorry. 5-2.
5-2. Okay.
And keep in mind, the footprint is only a little bit over 1,100 square feet. So that's one of the bedrooms.
Damien, could you turn your phone around so we can see the landscape?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
That looks
Is that better?
great. Yes, thank you. Thanks, Yaz.
Bedroom number 2. Each
Somebody says
bedroom-
they love the barn door as well.
So this was the bathroom in the 1 unit side. Let me turn on the light, sorry. Nice big stand-up shower. Still need to put a mirror. Bathroom. We got the quartz countertops. Still got to do the microwave. I actually got that in my truck. Put the microwave in. Then we put the laundry here. Still have to push it back. And this is a 2-in-1. So this is a washer and dryer in this 1 unit. Turn on some lights. So bedroom 1, 2, and then here is bedroom 3. This was on the 2-unit side. This was actually like the living room space on the 2-unit side. Got to get a refrigerator up out of here, get a new fridge. Then this is the 4th bedroom. Each bedroom is really a decent size. Like you definitely got to have vision. And this is the 2nd bath.
Looks beautiful, Dameon. That is amazing. Who picked out all the tile and everything? Was that Jennifer?
I picked the tile and we agreed upon it. we kind of,
Had a couple questions come in on bedroom size. Do you still have that one picture of like the drawing of the house that showed the rooms and everything?
um, Jennifer had that. I know which one you're talking about, but it's not to scale. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't. Each bedroom, I don't know the actual size of each bedroom, but it's a pretty decent size for each bedroom, as you can see.
I was kind of thinking they were all about the same size, but one of them.
Well, so these are 10 feet by 9.5 or something like that. I can't remember what my contractor, how we did it. But these three are all similar in size.
Okay.
And then these two are bigger.
There you go. Okay. So the two toward the back of the house are larger.
Yes. Yes. These were the original 2 bedrooms on the 2 bedroom side. So what we
That
really
is
did,
absolutely beautiful, Dameon. What a transformation. You did all this in 6 weeks.
yeah. Yep. You can my contractors are the real deal. And they could have been done quicker than that. You know, they dragged their feet a little bit.
Okay. I mean, after I
Yeah.
saw all the demo and the walls torn out and everything like that, that's fantastic. Let's see if we had any other questions here. Time frame, start to finish. Deborah, about 6 weeks at this point. Jennifer, will the bedrooms fit full size? Clean, okay. Keith, there, hey, your buddy Keith's on. Wants to know if you keep track of your paint colors. Do you use the same colors throughout all your projects?
We do not. My wife is the designer, so she likes to try different things.
Well, I think it looks amazing. It simply does. And just the outside from the very beginning, I mean, just the curb appeal to it. It's just an adorable, cute place. I mean, you look at it from outside and you see the combinations of the grays and the whites, and of course Jennifer's landscaping. It really has a great curb appeal to it. So obviously you went from 3 beds to 5 beds. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And that was all based on an additional cash flow that you could generate.
Yes.
So you weighed the costs, the difference of, okay, it's going to cost me this much to do this compared to keeping it as 3. And that outweighed the fact that, or it did, yeah, it outweighed doing that than just keeping it the same because of the cash flow you could generate going to 5 bedrooms.
Yeah, you would get an additional uh, uh, about $1,000 difference between a 3 and a 5.
Yeah, we're going to get to the numbers here in a second. So, so like this particular property, do you already, while you're doing the demo process, are you already marketing, looking for your tenant?
We started looking probably, I want to say probably about 3 weeks ago before it's done.
And so do you already have a tenant lined out, or are you still in the
We
interview
do
process?
have another person coming to see it today at 12:30. But yeah,
I can't imagine anybody looking at that property and not wanting to live there.
well, yeah, but again, it's our screening process. We do have people want to live there, but we don't pick everybody. So we we want to get the best of the best.
That's right. That's right. So let's dive in. It's about 10:46 right now. Let's go ahead. I'm going to pull up the screen. I've had a couple of people send me messages when we're getting to the numbers. We kind of always wait to get to the numbers to the end. So here we go. Let me pull those up. Can you see it there, Dameon?
Yep.
If you're on your phone today, guys, anybody, you can pinch it out and make it larger if you need to. That'd be great. Go ahead, Dameon.
So we purchased it at 278. Originally we had projected a renovation cost of 54,000. But we actually went over because of just unexpected situations that always arise. Again, pulling down the ceiling and just having to add, my initial budget, I was wanting to just replace some of the cedar shingles and then do a painting. But my wife wanted to do the siding, which was an awesome job, pivot, because I think it brings more value to it. So we did that, which cost a little bit more. It's just a little bit more things here and there, and stuff that was unforeseen, like the dumpsters. We only used 3 dumpsters, and we used a dumpster, which I wouldn't. They nickel and dime you. All of them, they said, were overweight. I don't agree to. Like they said, one of my dumpsters was like 10,000 pounds, like crazy. So they end up sending it. I was supposed to pay like 1,500, end up paying like a little bit over 1,000 more because of all of the nickel and diamond. So just a little extra money here and there. So we end up spending 62, 645, and we still got a couple of more things to do. So it's probably gonna go up to maybe another 2,000. Our private money cost is 6,600, and we have a projected ARV of 425. I'm actually hoping for that to be better. Seeing a few other houses that just recently sold, so hopefully we get a better ARV than that. And I can't see the rest. Note. And the current mortgage. Yep,
Go
the
ahead.
current mortgage is 2264. But the monthly rent, as you can see with Section 8 will pay us, is 4324. And I'm in prayer because I hope that it's actually going to go up. I think it's going to go up soon. So we might even get a little bit more than that 4324 in cash flow. But at the very least, 4324, and then our monthly cash flow is 2060.
Now, that is an amazing cash flow for one property. And then, of course, Cody just said 4,300 for rent. I know we've talked about this in prior property tours, but every market is different. And, a 5-bedroom property in Topeka, Kansas, Section 8 would be a lot less than 4,324, substantially less. And so it's, knowing your market, and in your market, that's the going rate. So talk a little bit about your current mortgage. Have you already refied this out? How have you structured that?
We're still dealing with a hard money lender. So our hopes is once we do, that we'll have an even lower mortgage than that. So that can also potentially give us more cash flow as well. So yeah, once we get the tenant in place, then we'll work on doing the cash out refi.
Okay. And real quickly, let's see what we got here. Kendra Fowler says, yeah, 4,300 is standard in this area for a 5-bedroom. So Kendra must be in your same area.
Yep. Okay.
And the location again, where's the location? The DMV area is what you said?
Yeah, this is Bowie, Maryland.
All right.
Yeah.
So what kind of rate are you looking at, you and Jennifer looking at on the refi? I mean, numbers have been going up. It's been kind of crazy. Where are you looking at?
Yeah, and right, I don't know because like you said, excuse me, like you said, numbers are going up. So I'm hoping no more than an 8% for investment property. You know, it's a little higher than the traditional rates for like a homeowner. So I'm hoping no more than an 8. Hoping he actually can get a little less. So I don't know. Once that time frame, once we go to refinance, we have to see what the economy is doing, if they've raised the rates, and but it'll be better than the 11% that we're currently paying.
Absolutely. So Damon, as we wrap up and wind down here for today, this has been a fantastic property tour. You've shared so much great information, and you've really shared a lot of the knowledge that you've gained. How would you like to kind of wrap up today's property tour? Thinking about who's on today, we've got, again, a lot of people on that are guests who are kind of checking our community out, checking what this whole real estate investing thing is. And, we might have some folks on today that have never done a deal yet, and they're, looking at getting started. How would you kind of like to wrap things up today and leave everybody with?
I want to kind of give an analogy, right? My middle daughter, she doesn't know how to ride a bike, and or just anybody, right? When you first started to ride a bike, you were very nervous, very scared, and once you learn, not that you couldn't fall off the bike anymore, the same risk is there, but now you know how to ride versus before you didn't know and you were fearful. It's the same thing with real estate. Everybody who's on here today, not one person who's on here today, they're here because they want to do real estate. They want to do real estate, or they are doing real estate. And like I stated before, education is going to help you to mitigate those risks and that fear that you have from pulling the trigger and doing something. For those who haven't, they're in the group and they haven't done their first deal, just continue to educate yourself, watch your classes, and hang around people who are doing, what you want to do. And for those who haven't joined the group, get plugged in. Whether it's here, whether it's wherever, you're gonna have to get educated. You cannot circumvent getting educated, and it's going to cost you, again, by trying to do it on your own, when you can have so many people who can point you in the right direction and help you to mitigate those risks that you're going to face. Things are going to pop up. Like I said, I spent an extra almost $9,000 on things that just popped up that I had no control over. But because I was educated enough to buy it right the first time, then that didn't hurt me. That didn't break me. Some people, $9,000 will kill their deal, will hurt them. Some people have to put a house back on the market because they don't have the money to be able to finish a project because they ran out of money. And all of these things that you can learn within our community to help you to mitigate all of those risks so you can be successful in doing something that you say you want to do. So if this is what you want to do, this is the best way. God ain't making no more land. You better get you some. He has made all the land he's going to make, and there are people buying it up left and right. So we have the same opportunity just like anyone else, but we want to be educated and doing that the right way, the responsible way. You wouldn't go to a doctor who said he got his education on YouTube, would you? So we shouldn't go to YouTube to get educated. We should go to people who we know, like, and trust, and can form those bonds where we could do more together than trying to do it on our own.
That's awesome, David. I really appreciate you and Jennifer. I know Jennifer's tied up with work out of state right now, but you did a great job. And we really appreciate you guys giving back to the community and sharing your deal and your story today. we look forward to future deals that you guys do. And again, we appreciate you very much. I know it's a great weekend. It's Labor Day weekend. And hope everybody on today has a great weekend and spends time with their family and friends. We'll be back next Saturday, and we will be featuring a unbelievable short-term rental in Proval, Utah. So I hope you guys come out and see another power couple like Jennifer and Dameon, who are doing really great things in real estate. That'll be next Saturday. Dameon, appreciate you a lot. Love you, brother. Thanks for being on.
Don't we got something going on right after this for those who want to?
Yeah, and I apologize. Thank you for reminding me. Oh shoot, boy, I slipped there. We do have something right after this, and normally I've already mentioned it before, but we do have right after this at 5 after the top of the hour. We have an overview of our community and what we do and how we do it, discussing a lot about the education and becoming knowledgeable and just plugging in with our group. It's on a different Zoom link, so you'll want to text whoever invited you out today and get plugged into that and get that link and jump on. That starts here in about 10 minutes. So we'd love to have you guys out for that. Thanks for reminding me, Dameon. I appreciate
No problem.
that. But for right now, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Everybody have a great Labor Day weekend. And we look forward to seeing you guys out again next Saturday. Guys, have a blessed weekend.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.